Good evening. Good afternoon, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. I am your host, Greg Romero Wilson, and Week 7, I'm finally getting to do my recap show. I'm sorry to those of you that actually subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or that watch this when I post it on YouTube or whatever. I've been traveling so much as a comedian. I've been doing so much stuff that I just haven't had a chance to do. I've been able to do the preview shows before every week, but I haven't been able to do the recap show. Jonathan Gregory, welcome to the show. For those of you listening to the podcast, when I talk to people, PJ Stansberry, we're talking fantasy football. I don't know if you're an enthusiast. I know you're a very good comedian. Thank you very much for coming out. And let me tell you something. This is such an important part of the show to do. Rob Haskins, how are you, brother? This is such an important part of the show to do because let's be honest, there is the fantasy football part. And that is the preview. That's projections. That's looking at the numbers and trying to read the stones and figure out what everything's going to happen. And then Monday, Tuesday, that's the harsh reality. When you have to deal with the mistakes that you made. JR, what's up, brother? Talking fantasy football, man. How'd your weekend go? And that's the thing is, it was a weekend where I went 1-2. That's what happened. I went 1-2. I should have gone 2-1, and I'll explain that in a minute. And I could have gone 3-0, but I coached myself out of one, as is my style. But the one that really got me, of course, was the one that I should have won, and that's in my comedians league where I was playing against a guy who's number 2 overall, and I was like number 3 or 4, and I had Saquon back, and he didn't have Christian McCaffrey, so it was all lining up, right? And then I had picked up Latavius Murray and Chase Edmonds. I had them both, okay? I had them both, and I had put in Chase Edmonds. Originally. And then at some point, when the news came out about Kamara, I swear to God, now I know I must have been drunk or something, but in my mind, I put in Latavius Murray. But unfortunately, in reality, I put in Lazard. I had no intention of playing Lazard whatsoever. He was just a guy I picked up to put on my bench in case that relationship turned out to be real with Aaron Rodgers, and we don't know when Devontae Adams is coming back. So I was like, hey, what if this is the new guy? I always miss out on the new guy. So I was like, I'm going to grab this guy this time. And somehow, some way, I stupidly managed to put in Lazard and not Latavius. And I had like over 60, I think it was like 64, 65 points on my bench. And I lost by 10 lousy points. Oh, and yeah, Fuller, listen, we thought Fuller was going to have a good day. I tell you who had a good day, and remember, I told you he was going to have a good day. Marvin Jones. I said Xavier Rhodes is going to be on Galladay, which could make it a Marvin Jones day. Now, did I think, right? That's a good head right there. Cowboys, classic. Did I think that he was going to go off like that? Fuck no, I didn't think he was going to go off like that. But I mean, I thought he would have a better day because of that. And of course, he went bananas. Chase Edmonds, I missed out on that bonanza because I went with, again, and this is the thing. And I was on the East Coast. I was in Miami. I had till 1 p.m. to check it and fix it. But I was so hungover. It was one of those hangovers where you wake up still drunk. It was one of those. And then, like, the people I was there working with, they were like, come on, we got to get food. And they, like, dragged me out. And it was just bananas. Now, listen, guys, before we go any further, I think there's something that we need to discuss. I feel like we need to remember that this is just a game. This is just fantasy football. You don't want to go too crazy with it. There are some guys, there's this guy in my league, John Mesh, and he goes out of his way to create these incredible fucking, media presentations. And it was my turn this week. And then he beat me too. It's one thing when he does it and then you beat him, but it's another thing when he does it and then he beats you on top of it. And so he did it, and it's all me with dicks and squirting juice. It was fucking horrible, but I thought it was hilarious. You lost by 5 points. So salty. I'm with you, bro. The one that I lost that I absolutely should have won by a bunch, that one I was like, oh my God. It was fucking crazy. Let's see here. No, I don't want to do that. Kingleberry, fuck David Johnson, fantasy owners. Yeah, hey, listen, and news just came out about the Cards that they're signing Alfred Morris. So this thing with David Johnson, I wouldn't go picking up Alfred Morris right now because I think Chase Edmonds clearly has a chokehold now on that fucking position, and he's amazing. So if you grabbed him, but the fact they're signing Alfred Morris, to me, indicates that whatever this David Johnson thing is, it's worse then he just doesn't feel right. Which, if you recall, that's what he was doing. He was saying, he was like, oh, I don't feel right. And so I felt like it was one of those things where we just, with Alfred Morris, don't go grab him right now. But everybody played David Johnson thinking that he was going to have a great game. And then, and Kerryon Johnson is now also on the IR. And so people are like, okay, who's it going to be? Now, when you look at a team like the Lions, now that's a team that I believe is going to make a trade. Because their next best guy is McKissick, although there's also this guy, Ty Johnson, I guess, that they're also considering. And so that guy, I don't trust that guy at all, you know? That's a guy that I think absolutely, I think they go to McKissick first, but they are guys that I could see trading for Kenyon Drake. So, or maybe signing Ajayi. So there's some options there. I don't think they're going to just automatically upgrade. Now listen, guys, I would like to talk about guys who take fantasy football too seriously. Guys, we have to remember, it's fantasy football. The guy made a video of me with all these dicks, and it was fucking crazy. It was out of control. Now, this week, there's a guy in my league whose opinion I respect very, very much, but he's trying to do this entirely underhanded, backdoor, dirty campaign, totally below, under the table, trying to stop one of my trades from going through because he's upset because I didn't let him trade rape his brother earlier in the season. This is a true story. He actually, at the beginning of the season, he's the guy. Remember last week when I read you that amazing team that's dominating our league? Okay. So this guy in our league earlier with that incredible team tried to trade rape his own brother. He was in first place and his brother was in last place. And he got his brother to trade him DeAndre Hopkins for Kenny Golladay. And I was like, come on, this is bullshit. No. This is trade rape. This is crazy. And the league agreed with me. We had a league vote and the league agreed. So consequently, the league was so we voted him down. So we had to throw in Eckler. He had to add Eckler to his trade to make it go through. And this guy's been losing his mind ever since that I didn't let him trade rape his brother. Okay, his brother was in last place. He was in first place, and he was going to trade him DeAndre Hopkins from the last place team for Kenny Golladay from the first place team. Okay, so I stopped it. So this week I made a trade. And I went out there, and I'll tell you what. Let's see if I'll bring it up so I can read it to you guys, because I think this is to be honest, I'll tell you, I was nervous about making the trade, and in fact, if the league voted the trade down, I'd almost be relieved because I'm losing. The guys I'm giving up are guys I still somehow fucking believe in. Well, listen to this trade that I got. Okay, let's see if I can go to my team. Here we go. So I'm trading away Gurley, OBJ, and Darren Waller. And I'm getting Devontae Adams, Mahomes, and someone else. Who's the other one? Whoops, no details. I'm getting Mahomes, Devontae Adams, and someone else. And the thing about it is only 2 of those are currently active players. Only 2. The other guys are injured right now. So by the time they play, and Philip Lindsay. So I'm basically trading Gurley for Lindsay, Darren Waller for Patrick Mahomes, and OBJ for Devontae Adams. That's what I'm doing. Okay, and this guy lost his mind, and he's being completely evil about it. So all I want to say, guys, is he's bad because I have obviously blocked his trade earlier. Everyone's already texted me and told me the trade's fine. It's just like, guys, relax. It's just fantasy football. It's all jokes. When John Mesh called my brother a douche, and he didn't play. But by the time Mahomes comes back, my fantasy season might be kaput anyway. It is a gamble that I'm trying to make that I could actually win a couple games and stay in it. And hopefully he comes back and helps me win some games there in the playoffs. But it's a long shot. I'm currently in 8th place. Although, to be honest, we're all kind of racked up together. There's like 3 guys that are 4-3, and then 3 guys that are 3-4, and I'm in the 3-4 thing. Who do you like on Thursday? Washington or Minnesota? Obviously Minnesota. Is that a real question? How could you like Washington against that defense? I mean, that's crazy. But let's look at who the big leaders were. So the scoring leaders, Chase Edmonds missed that. Look at that. Fucking 3-4 on my bench. I blew it, guys. I fucking blew it. And by the way, who the fuck is Zach Pascal? Does anybody have Zach Pascal? Who the fuck is this guy? He's on the Indianapolis Colts. Apparently, this is who Jacoby Brissett. And the question is this Zach Pascal now a real thing? Or is he this week's Anthony Lazard? Because I think he's this week's Anthony Lazard. You just traded Connor for Davante Adams. Well, and that's the thing. Listen, that's a dangerous trade in my opinion because Connor's been finally playing good, and who knows what's going on with Davante Adams' toe. Davante Adams' toe, he's got turf toe, and that could be a lingering game season wrecking fucking injury. Let's see. Matt Stafford is coming alive, and Matt Stafford's one of those quarterbacks that seems to still be out there on a lot of waiver wires. If you need a quarterback, Matt Stafford, and I hate Matt Stafford. I hate him. But I think I may pick him up off the waiver wire because I have Brady. And let's face it, last night, that was the game I could have won. If Brady would have actually scored the 3 touchdowns that he landed it and then they fell down at the fucking 1-yard line and forced them to run it in, because you knew Brady wasn't going to dive and risk his body when they're up 24-0. Oh my God. I needed those 2 more TDs. He gets me those 2 more TDs, man, and I win that fucking game. And that's the problem with Brady. With this defense playing that great, he doesn't really have to throw the ball that much. You know? He doesn't have to, because they're never behind. They're never behind. They're always in it. Luckily, he still does throw the ball, but obviously last night, I mean, it was such a wash. I was like, he's never throwing the ball in the second half. I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked. And then, yes, 2 more potential touchdowns. Nothing. Stafford is solid, but he's hot and cold, and he tends to let his owners down at the wrong time. But I think this is a different Stafford, because I think this is what Matt Patricia's team is finally coming together. I think Matt Patricia's vision is finally coming together. And again, I'm interested to see what they do with this running back problem that they've got right now, because it's a real problem. And I'm interested to see if they trade for Drake, because I grabbed Drake hoping this type of thing might happen. So let's see, because if he does and Drake winds up there, this team could be dangerous. And Stafford, honestly, I hate the guy, but I think this is the season. Just like I don't trust Dalvin Cook, but I believe this is his season. I think that's actually might be true for Matt Stafford right now. Dalvin Cook, again, this is a guy that I'm waiting for him to get injured every single week. Every week, I'm like, here it comes. Here comes the knee. And he just keeps blazing through defenses. I think this is the week that you can just count on him, which I hate that because I obviously passed on him in all 3 leagues because I didn't trust his health. And in fact, I had rostered that Albertson or whatever, his backup, who's actually really great, just counting on him to go down all the time, and he just won't go. He won't go down. But there's still a lot of football to play. We'll see. Albert Madison, that's his name. Zeke Elliott getting it going with my Cowboys. You see that game? Woo! And you know, the thing is, I was on a plane during the game, and I was trying to like ignore everything and wait till I got home because I was recording it. And the second I got off the plane, all the messages came in and fucking, oh, Cowboys! I was like, I guess we fucking won. But I loved that fucking win. You know why? Because our defense finally played with passion. And earlier this season, a lot of people played that Cowboys defense, and a lot of people stopped. But if you played them this week, you were very, very happy with their production. And I just hope they can hold on to that energy, because we're going into a bye week. And I just hope I don't know if you know this, but these players are gods in Dallas. And I just hope they don't just go around just wasting their energy. I just want them to stay focused and rest, but they're not going to. They're going to go fuck a million girls. That's what's going to happen. Especially coming off that win to the fucking Philadelphia Eagles. It's fucking Blowjob City. You can rename Dallas Blowjob City right now, because there ain't going to be nothing but a lot of dick sucking going on for the next 2 weeks. They're going to be sucking those Cowboys' dicks. DeAndre Hopkins. Again, DeAndre Hopkins, he's one of those guys. Him, obviously, and Aaron Rodgers. These are guys, this is why I don't believe in dropping or losing really big name Cowboy, right? Cowboys are Cowboys, that's right, exactly. You know that they're just they got to go get their dick sucked this week, that's how it is now. This is why I don't believe in getting rid of marquee players. This is why, while I did think that trade might potentially be good for me, I'm losing Gurley, I'm losing fucking OBJ, a guy that I believed at the beginning of the season might be the wide receiver 1 overall. And he's coming out of a bye week. If he is going to turn it around, it's going to be this week. Don't be surprised if, even though it's against the New England Patriots, this is the week that OBJ and the Patriots and the Browns come out and shock the world. Because they've been on the bye week. I'm sure they had one of those players-only meetings where they talk about what really needs to happen to get back on track. And I can't wait even if they lose, I think OBJ is going to have a big day. Even with McCourty on him, I think OBJ is going to show the world who he really, and I just traded him for fucking possibly Devontae Adams. And I just hate losing, because look at Aaron Rodgers. Everyone fucking, it's over for Aaron. And look at him, fucking 5 touchdowns, 429 yards. People, they trade away DeAndre Hopkins. All of a sudden, look at him. There he is. 26 points, 106 yards and a touchdown, 9 receptions. God damn. But that's what these guys can do. And so sometimes you just have to be patient. And that's why, listen, if this league actually votes down my trade, I'll be like, all right, because I still believe in these guys. Andy Hand, welcome to the show. We're talking fantasy football, my man. Did you win this week? Did you lose? I left both Latavius Murray and Chase Edmonds on my bench and lost because I'm a fucking dickhead. Jessica, how are you? Your Niners made the big play for Emmanuel Sanders, a player I've held on to in 2 leagues, whose value I think just straight to the moon, Alice. I love that move. And for you guys, listen, obviously it's all in Niner Town right now. You guys you're saying, yeah, you guys. But you guys, some of you guys walk around acting like you always knew it. That's the funnest part of all this. There was one guy like, I'm a Niners fan. We could. I'm like, listen, don't take a victory lap just yet. Season's early. But you guys, listen, it's that defense. And you have to admit, this year does seem to be the year of the defense. Defense is not just in regular football where you seem to have these amazing defenses stifling very good offenses. I mean, but in fantasy football, having the right defense with the right matchup is making and breaking games. I mean, I almost won that game because I have the Jacksonville defense, and they did great this week against, of course, Cincinnati. Chicago has won games for me. If you have the Patriots defense, you probably have 1 loss, maybe 2 at best, because they've been scoring 50 points. How much did the Patriots get last night? I didn't even look at this. What did the Patriots pull last night? Let's look at the last week's matchups. Let's look at all the. I want to find this, and I want to see what the Patriots defense did. I'm going to look this up because it was something really ridiculous. Well, Jessica, your offense is decent. It's decent. It's your defense that's winning it. Why do you think they had to go out and get Emmanuel Sanders? Because you really don't have a marquee wide receiver right now. And you really don't have a marquee running back either. You're running a full committee. I mean, Tevin Coleman is very, very good. Matt Breida, very, very good. I mean, you have a lot of very, very goods. And even Garoppolo, very, very good. And George Kittle, your 1 star, seems to be the one guy you're not using that much of. So it's a very interesting situation. Well, let's look up New England's score from last night. I'm just dying to know. Last night, they scored 41 points. Listen to their points. They start out with 17, then 57, then 23, then 38, then 25, then another 38, and then 41. Listen. So there's a lot of these. These defenses that are absolutely winning weeks for certain players. And so you got to find a good defense week in, week out. And for most of us that don't have New England or don't have Chicago, or don't have San Francisco now. But think about that: San Francisco, New England, Chicago, Tennessee has been winning a lot of games and turning up points. There's so many good defenses, and you better pick one, or you're probably going to lose. So, but the matchup is everything. Oh, you have to start Sam Darnold this week. Woo! I would. Your choice is Tannehill. Tannehill. Well, it comes down to matchups. It's going to come up down to matchups. So let's see if we can see next week's matchups. See what they are. I gotta look them up because I don't know. So I can't see them right now. Because it's showing me the old games. I need to see the new games. Where are the new games? Let's see what we got. Anyways, but for me, I'm thinking, listen, Tannehill, and for Derrick Henry owners, you got to be happy about this trade, this switch to Tannehill. I only got to watch like 2 games because I was flying, but I watched that game, and Tannehill, like he was at least effective. He was getting the ball down the field, and it opened up the run game for Derrick Henry, and he did what Derrick Henry was supposed to do, gave you close to 100 yards. He'll get it next time. That was a pretty good defense with the Chargers, but he got 90 yards and a touchdown, and that's what you want from Derrick Henry. And he wasn't, but there were a couple that he almost broke loose, and that's what you're really in it for. Those juicy 80-yarders when he just gets loose, and I'm telling you they're coming. I'm telling you, and I think they have a better chance with Tannehill. I don't think that Mariota, unless Tannehill goes out there and really sucks a dick, I don't think they're going to be going back to Mariota this season. I think Tannehill's got a real shot to be the guy this season. And so Darnold just, he looked so, his ego's so bruised from that. It's hard to get really boofed in public like that. That's the kind of loss that really, could hurt the rest of the season. It could really damage him overall. So, I don't know. Bill Seeley, welcome to the show. We're talking fantasy football. Did you win this week? How'd you do? How'd your teams do? But Marvin Jones, again, that was a matter of matchup. We knew Xavier Rhodes was going to shut down Kenny Golladay. We talked about that specifically, totally called it. I said fire up Latavius Murray. I put that out. If you're not following me on Twitter or Instagram, I was out there with hey, Alvin doesn't look good. Go, you better fucking fire up Latavius. And then the news came down. Darren Waller, I've been on his bandwagon. He was somebody I traded for week 2. I traded for Darren Waller. Now he's my only really valuable piece, so I'm trading him. That's what we got going on. Sorry about that. I actually got to take that call. That was my agent calling. Very important stuff. Austin Eckler, listen, I watched that game. Austin Eckler, they're talking about him taking stuff away from Melvin Gordon. Aside from the fumble at the end, Melvin Gordon, Tennessee has a very good run-stopping defense, and I didn't see necessarily Melvin Gordon doing a bad job. He just wasn't able to break free, and Austin wasn't doing such a great job. He just had that one big reception. So, even though, I have trepidation about Melvin Gordon's usage. It does seem like Austin is earning more back into it, and Melvin is going a little bit down. That's why I tried to trade Melvin away, but nobody wanted him. They weren't taking him. Sony Michel, listen, all those touchdowns that should have been mine, okay, they went to Sony Michel. So, congratulations, you took my fucking points. Well, listen, guys, I actually have to end the podcast right now because I just got some very interesting news from my agent, and I need to get on the phone with him immediately. So, you guys, listen, thank you very much. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FFHR Podcast because this is Fantasy Football Harsh Reality.